A look inside AT&T Stadium in Arlington, where just when vibes are down, when the team is depleted, when the season is hanging on by a thread, this rival, this team decides they want to invade our house. Today, it's the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and we are live from AT&T Stadium and the AT&T East Plaza. Cowboys Nation, it doesn't matter what the record is. It doesn't matter who's on the other sideline. Today, it's all about the Cowboys getting back on track here from AT&T Stadium. Alongside Barry Church, former Cowboys safety, we've got Super Bowl champion Isaiah Stanback in the building, and then the three-time Super Bowl champ, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton is on the air as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. We're going to talk to Nicole Hutchison and Nick Eatman just a moment. They are down on the sideline inside AT&T Stadium. One thing that always amazes me when we come out here is it doesn't matter what the game is. These guys are ready to rock. These fans of Cowboys Nation out in the plaza are ready to rock.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And Nate, here's the thing. You live your best life when we come out here, but it's even a little sweeter when it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know it, man. I'm enjoying this right here. The bad thing about this is we are a three-game losing streak. But the great thing about this, we finna upset them Eagles and tie down their meat house, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah!
Let's go.
It does mean a little bit more. I mean, all three of you guys have been in this rivalry before. What is it like going up against a team like this with so much disdain and hatred that it just feels a little different?
Oh, it feels a lot different to me. When you go into that Philadelphia Eagles matchup, you understand you're going to get the best from both sides. All right, you understand that those guys hate you on that end. We hate them on this side, and it's been like that since Nate was playing.
That's right, baby.
It myself. I mean, this rivalry goes deep, and I can't wait to see what the Cowboys got this afternoon.
Yeah, nobody likes the Philadelphia Eagles. That's just what it is. When you're a Dallas Cowboy, when you have an opportunity to rock that star on your helmet, you have a disdain for these guys. You can't stand them. You hate seeing the green. It gives you a bad taste in your mouth. So you have an opportunity to go in your crib today and take care of some doggone birds and make some wings.
I like it.
A little wing action.
Action, man.
Let's talk about this matchup, and it is going to look a little bit different for the Cowboys. We got to start with the biggest storyline of the week. Dak Prescott out for a significant period of time. He has not been placed on IR as of this moment, but that is the expectation that he will miss, if not the rest of the season, a significant amount of time. Barry, how much does that change things for this Cowboys team whenever they go into a matchup like this?
Well, you know, as far as on the play is considered, I don't think the offense will change much between Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. But what you're gonna lose from not having Dak Prescott out there is that leadership. I mean, this is one of the biggest leaders I've ever been around. I got to play with him his rookie season coming in there. We thought, okay, this is a fourth-round draft pick. What's he going to be able to bring to the table? But we understood as the season goes on that this guy gives you his all no matter what's going on. So to me, that leadership aspect that Dak Prescott brings is what this Cowboys team is going to miss.
Yeah, you just touched on it, the leadership aspect. And when you have your QB1, I don't care if he's the highest paid in the league history or if he's just the QB1 of the Dallas Cowboys, this is the guy that everybody looks to. He's the guy who they look at his play, they look at how he carries himself, they look at his character, and they look at how he's going to lead these guys on the field. Obviously, he's gone now, so now you have Cooper Rush, somebody who's been around, somebody who this organization trusts, this locker room understands that has been around, has the wisdom, has the cool, calm, and collectedness, and the success on the field as a 5-1 starter to lead these guys to success.
He has the knowledge, he has the skill, he can place the ball, but what he's gonna need is a lot of time. Let him do this with 3-step drops, 5-step drops. He's not as strong as Dak. Dak is taking a physical beating before he went out on his injury. We can't afford for Cooper to have this type of beating because we have an even younger guy behind him. So we have to stand strong and be precise in how we do things today.
That's one of the things about this quarterback room is that when you even take a step away from Dak Prescott and you do put in Cooper Rush to be a part of this offense, he has proven that he can win games in the NFL. So don't rush to conclusions when it comes to Cooper Rush. Let's take a look at some of his numbers so far throughout his career. I mean, for the most part, he's been steady hand Luke for this Cowboys offense. A 5-1 record, Isaiah, you mentioned that a moment ago, but it's really the completion percentage, the yardage, the passer rating. All of these things are steady. They're maybe not the step up that you could get from a Dak Prescott, but at the same time, that's what you're asking him to do is steady the ship.
Yeah, that's what you want him to be, a bus driver. And I know that's an overutilized term, but when you look at Cooper Rush, and even what he was able to come in the game last week and do, he was able to sit in the pocket while under pressure move with calm and collectedness, being able to work up into the pocket, throw the ball on time, anticipating his receiver. He's not guessing. He's not wondering if he has the ability. He's delivering the ball to these guys and putting them in a position to get this thing that we like to say in offense called yak. That's yards after catch. So if he can do this and half the time that Nate's talking about, you're going to have opportunity to see some of these guys that you haven't seen make plays this year. They're going to show back up today.
I'm going to tell you what, man. I'm going to go old school on you, man. Phil Simms of the New York Giants was a bus driver. You know, Tom Brady was the highest paid bus driver I knew. Come on, Cooper Rush, drive that bus, baby.
Yeah, look, the Cowboys understand what they have in Cooper Rush. I mean, this is a guy who's an ultimate professional. He understands that when his number is called, it's going to be time for him to step up and get the job done. I believe this opportunity will be slightly different than it was back in 2022 when he took over for Dak Prescott. I believe there's going to be more on his plate. You know, the offensive line is not playing as great as it once was. You know, there's no type of balance with the run game. So I believe Cooper Rush is going to have to be a little bit more than a bus driver out there, lifting these guys on the outside to be able to get the job done. But I still believe without Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush still gives you the best opportunity to get a W.
Let's hear from Cooper earlier in the week talking about the challenge at hand and taking over this Cowboys offense.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to beat Philly. I mean, that's kind of our approach this week. You got to take them one at a time. It's a cliche, but it works. And so that's kind of the goal, and you just really take it practice by practice, game by game, and, you know, we'll see what happens.
Did you need to learn to know you're not Dak when you're out there playing? Don't try and do things that he did in any kind of sense?
No, I didn't think you don't have to learn that. It's just, you know, played a ton of ball in college and stuff you've been doing your whole life. You kind of trust who you are, and the system's a system. You know, you do what you're supposed to do. You do what you're coached to do.
How's your connection with CeeDee been so good, even if he's not had a lot of time on task in games?
I mean, he's pretty easy to throw to. The guy gets open. He's got good body language, size, all that. And, you know, he's been awesome this week, you know, in terms of communicating with me, letting me know what's going on, how he sees certain things, you know. And like I said, it's guys I've played with before. I watch him practice, so it doesn't take too long to get back in rhythm with him. And he's an easy guy to throw to.
That's the thing about Cooper Rush is he's going to continue to have that same mindset, whether it's a big game, small game, doesn't matter. If he's a backup or a starter, he's going to bring that mindset, and that's exactly why the Cowboys extended him back in 2023. Now, let's go inside AT&T Stadium and hear from Nick Eatman on the sidelines. Nick, what's the feeling around this locker room whenever it comes to Cooper Rush? There's a lot of trust there, but what's it been like this past week? I don't think Nick can hear us, so that's one thing. Hey, how about that? But we're going to check back in here with Nick in a moment. I'll ask that same question here to Barry Church, though. You've been around the building. All three of you have been around the building this week. What has that really felt like whenever you have a quarterback go down with the franchise tag mentality with Dak Prescott, but now you got to move on to Cooper Rush?
Well, you would think, you know, with losing Dak Prescott, that the locker room, everybody would be kind of down. But it's the exact opposite from what I got. I mean, this team seems energized. They understand that they have a guy in Cooper Rush that can still get the job done. Like, there's still the season, all the goals are still ahead of them, even with Dak Prescott being down. So what I expect out of Cooper Rush this afternoon is a guy that we just talked about, not just driving the bus, but lifting the teammates as well, and I believe he can get the job done that way.
Yeah, listen up, man. Everybody would expect everything to be down and in dumps, right? If the season hasn't been going the way you want it to, you lose your QB1, and I don't want to minimize Dak Prescott's effect on this team, but when I was at the coffee machine this week, I just happened to be next to a dude by the name of Cooper Rush. Okay. And I said, hey, Rush, man, they're kind of hating on you, man. I said, they need to put some respect on your name. I said, well, how you feeling? He said, we can play. We can make some plays. So he has all the confidence in the world. That's how he talks. That's about as more excitement you're going to see out of him. But these guys trust him. This organization re-signed him to be here. They went out there and got a Trey Lance, but where's Trey Lance at? He's behind Cooper Rush. So trust in Rush is what we're trying to tell you guys today.
And Rush, trust in Jake Ferguson, baby. He's your blanket. Make it happen with Jake Ferguson. This is one of the top tight ends in the league that's been barely used. Open up that bag, baby, and I believe in you, Rush.
I think there's a sign back here that says, I flew over 1,200 miles to see them boys. We're going to see Nate Newton talk about 1,200 times today about Jake Ferguson and getting him involved. I think that's what's going to be the equivalent of it. There's a look at that sign. Phenomenal stuff. I love that. Now, let's take a look at the inactive list because it is littered with names that I don't know if we anticipated to be out. The number one name at the top of that list is your starting left tackle, Tyler Guyton. The rookie left tackle is out. They did have Awesome Richards take the left tackle snaps throughout the week in practice. So there's an opportunity to see Awesome Richards. Nate, I know you've kept a close eye on him, so I'll ask you in a moment about Guyton. But here are the rest of the names. Deron Bland, of course, Dak Prescott not on IR, so he has to be on the inactive list. And then Jonathan Mingo, we'll talk a little bit more about him in a moment. Cowboys trading a 4th-round pick to get him in the building this past week. But let's start with Tyler Guyton, Nate. How significant, without Guyton on that left side of the offensive line, is Awesome Richards going to have to be this week?
You know, last week he was stable. Not great, but he was stable in Tyler Guyton. And I thought that he was starting to move in the right way. But now that we don't have him there at that left tackle, our 1st-round pick out of Oklahoma, we have Awesome Richards. Just look at the name, Awesome Richards. He's a young guy, and he's going to go against a great pass rush in Josh Sweat. But I promise you, give him an opportunity. Let him work his feet. And don't let hey, when you go to sideline, consult with your coach. Work on your technique, baby, it'll take you through where you need to be.
Hey, listen up. Tyler Guyton's a young talent that has a lot of work to do. He has a long way to go. He had a rough start to the year, so I don't want to say that you're not missing much, but honestly, you're not going to miss a lot of production. Awesome Richards is very productive, okay? He's very capable. He's a bigger, more physical guy. I think that Tyler Guyton has better feet, but Awesome Richards is a mauler, right? So as you talk about Big Nate, his ability to go out there and handle Josh Sweat, that might be what you need from that left tackle position.
Yeah, when you talk about Richards, I just don't want him to be left out the draft. Like, you know, I understand you're going against one of the best defensive lines in all of football right now. With Josh Sweat on the outside, you got the big Georgia boys in the middle. Do not leave him on the outside. If he's struggling out there, get somebody to help chip. Whether it's a running back, a tight end, you're going to need as much protection as you can to go on against this defensive line. But Richards, you got to step up. It's your opportunity, baby.
The good thing about that inactive list, guys, was with all the names that were on there, one name, and I know the crowd will like this, one name that was not on the inactive list this week was Micah Parsons.
Yes, sir.
Number 11 is back this week for the Dallas Cowboys. That is a huge plus for this defensive front that needs to find pressure on this Eagles front as well. How significant is Micah Parsons being back in the fold?
Look, anytime you can add a all-pro defensive player of the year candidate back to your roster, it's a plus. And what Micah Parsons brings to the table is what this defense is sorely missed, and that's pressure on the quarterback. Without him being in the lineup these past 3 games, teams have averaged 6.7 yards per play. All right, that is unacceptable when you're looking at a defense out there. We need Micah Parsons to go out there and be that guy that he was last year, earlier in the season. You got to get pressure on Jalen Hurts to throw off that connection between him and the weapons on the outside. We need Parsons to show up in the big way this afternoon.
Micah Parsons is going to affect this team a lot more than just his productivity. The reason why is because he's the one guy on this defense that the offense has to circle with the red laser and say, focus your attention on him. Don't let him beat you. And if you are having that one guy that's now present on your defense, other guys can eat. What else can other guys do? Other guys are going to have the boat of confidence now to go out there and do their jobs better. The defensive line is going to play better because they're going to be more confident. The linebacker is going to be able to free flow more. Your cornerback is going to be able to be more aggressive on the outside and come up and pressure because they know there's not going to be as much time for these receivers to get open. So everybody gets better by having Micah Parsons on the field.
He's going to give us 25 to 35 snaps. He's not the explosive guy if we try to play him the whole game, because that is his game. He needs to come up out of his stance, better still, come up out of a 2-point stance, stay up so you can see what's happening, but be explosive. And when you get a little tired, it's all right to tap out, baby. Yeah, hey, I'm being honest here.
At the defensive end position.
Yeah, at the defensive end position. Not at the quarterback.
You can't do the quarterback.
I don't need that's like Kyle tapping out. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, guys, can't make it. Got to get out of here. All right, I want to talk about the trade that happened earlier in the week. It's been met with some criticism. It's been met with a lot of question marks around Jonathan Mingo, former second-round player, 2023 second-round pick out of Ole Miss. Hotty toddy. I'm sure there's probably some Ole Miss individuals out in the crowd today. But when it comes to the Jonathan Mingo trade, they send a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo and a 7th-round pick in return. This isn't a move for 2024, is it, Isaiah? This is a move for the future.
That's exactly what this is, Kyle. I know everybody's looking for impact, and hopefully after this week he's able to come and make an impact on this team, because you don't have a lot of additions outside of CeeDee Lamb right now. Not a lot of people contributing. Brandon Cooks is down. Jalen Tolbert's still figuring himself out. So you're hoping that he can make some contributions this year. But the reality is he's somebody who's still under his first contract. And by getting somebody underneath their first contract, you can manage your books a little bit better. And people need to understand that about the business aspect of this game. People look at the D-Hop trades and look at some of these other trades like, well, we could have got these guys. Yeah, you could have got those guys, but your books would have been hit by that. So this is something that they're playing for the future as they still have another big contract to sign. Dak's paid at the top of his position. CeeDee's paid at the top 2 of his position. There's a dude by the name of Micah we just finished talking about. That's going to be top paid as well.
Yeah, when you look at this move, it's definitely a move for the future. I mean, they're looking for somebody who can be that Robin to CeeDee's Batman out there. And when you look at, Mingo, what made him the 39th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft was he had all the characteristics. Big, strong, fast, physical, able to make those contested catches. So hopefully, the Dallas Cowboys will be able to get into that untapped potential that he has that made him that 39th overall pick, because this offense needs someone desperately outside of CeeDee Lamb to be able to win those one-on-one opportunities, and I believe that's what the thought process was, bringing a guy like Mingo into the fold.
I'm not saying we're better than the Carolina Panthers. I'm not. But I am saying that coming here to the Dallas Cowboys is going to give Mingo the chance that he needs. And if this is for the future, we didn't need that. We could have waited the next year. We need a number 2 to come up in and step up in and do what he needs to do. Bingo. Hey, ramp yourself up and be ready for next week, player.
Did you just call him Mango?
Like Mango. What is his name? What is his name? Talk to me.
Think of it Bingo, like Bingo was his name-o. M-I-N-G-O. That's what you got.
B-I-N-G-O. Let's go next week. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Let's hear from Jonathan Mingo, the newest Dallas Cowboy who spoke earlier in the week.
I'm just trying to play football, man. I've been playing football my whole life, so just decided to get out there and play football, show people what I can do.
What do you hope is different here in Dallas than what you experienced in Carolina?
Trying to start just winning and go out there and make plays, try to contribute to the team. So I'm just trying to make plays and help my team win. That's all I'm trying to do.
What do you think are your best attributes as a receiver right now?
I'm a big receiver, so I feel like I can be used in different type of ways. I can run the route tree. I'm a big guy too, so just trying to be used the best way I can be used so I can help the team win.
You look at this as a fresh start for you?
Yeah, first start for me, new stomping ground. So just trying to go out there and win, help my team win, and try to prove a name for myself.
Why do you think things didn't work out in Carolina?
I don't know. You can talk to them. It ain't up to me. That's between the front office and the coaches and stuff. So I know some things I could have did better, but I'm here now, so that's the past.
Do you feel like a fresh start is a good thing for you? How do you look at that overall?
Man, it's a fresh start. Just trying to make a first impression to everybody, just show them what type of receiver I am and see what I can do. So I'm just trying to go out there and make plays at the end of the day.
And then to hear how much they believed in you, how much does that mean to you?
I'm glad they took a chance on me so I can show them what I can do. Somebody finally believe in me so I can show them what I can do. So I'm just happy to be here.
So there's Jonathan Mingo, newest Dallas Cowboy. He is inactive today, so we'll have to wait until next week to finally see him on the field in a Cowboys uniform. But we talked earlier to Nick Eatman, or we tried to talk earlier to Nick Eatman. Now he's on the sideline, joined by Tommy Yarich, talking about some of these inactives and what the Cowboys can do to replace them.
Thanks, Kyle. And, I can hear myself now, though I couldn't hear you guys earlier. I got Tommy Yarich with me. And, Tommy, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. Maybe it's a good thing that you couldn't hear in here. Maybe the energy is kind of high. Yeah. Hopefully Cowboy fans will match it because Philly's going to bring it. What do you expect, though? Micah Parsons back. What do you expect him to have number 11 there on the Cowboys side?
Yeah, naturally when you're coming back after missing as many games as Micah Parsons has, you expect some growing pains of sorts, but this is an all-pro player that we're talking about here. Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in the league. When we talked to him earlier this week, he said, when I'm playing, I'm playing. That's the competitor in him. He's going to give it 100% every single snap tonight. So, you can throw around snap count, whatever. He's going to make it count, and he's going to have an impact tonight for this Cowboys pass rush.
Yeah, the key for him is he's been neutralized by the Eagles before. That kind of figured him out at times about going away from him. And so, I know Kellen Moore is very familiar with him, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with him. Let's flip to the other side of the ball. No Tyler Guyton at left tackle. Let's see how awesome it is there for the Cowboys. Awesome Richards there. He had a few snaps the other day against the Falcons. What do you expect from him?
Yeah, Richards came in when Guyton went out. It looked like he had a neck injury of some sort. So, you're just expecting good enough, right? That left side of the offensive line has seen a lot of help for Tyler Guyton as he tries to grow and progress through his rookie season. So I would expect a lot of the same thing today, and it's going to be crucial to protect Cooper Rush here in his 7th career start.
Yeah, I didn't want to bury the lead there. We know Dak's not here. Cooper Rush going to be there. And I expect, Ezekiel Elliott to play a lot, especially to protect that pocket there. He's a good, pass blocker. We're going to see Rico Dowdle, of course, but you'll also see Zeke out there to protect that pocket because Cooper Rush certainly will need it.
Yeah, he'll certainly need it, and Ezekiel Elliott's the best pass blocker as a running back on this Cowboys team. So him being back, especially in this game with Awesome Richards there at left tackle, was going to be crucial. So you got the tight end there to help. You can put Ezekiel Elliott there situationally to help too, and hopefully that gives Cooper Rush enough time to make all of his throws.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us there. Last second, Tommy Yarish. Kyle, we'll throw it back to you guys out there.
Thank you very much, Nick. Back outside here on the AT&T East Plaza where Cowboys Nation is in full force, all the way from Delaware. How about that? That's a trip.
That is a
we
trip.
saw 1,200 miles earlier. We see Delaware here. If you're coming from out of state and watching a Cowboys game, that means you are a true fan.
Much respect.
No doubt about it. You guys are the real ones, and we appreciate you hanging around here for Cowboys Pregame Live. We just heard about some of these inactives for the Cowboys, and it is going to be tough. Playing at home after you've lost 3 straight. You're trying to avoid a 4-game home losing streak for the first time since 2015. I mean, is there still a home field advantage? I know there's a home field advantage back here, but is there one inside the stadium? Because the Cowboys haven't necessarily played out like it this year.
Well, to be honest with you, Kyle, these guys, they can't worry about all that. I know it sounds corny, but to me, I really believe this. You've got to focus game by game. All right, you cannot worry about what happened last week, what's going to happen the week, but next week, you got to focus on the task at hand. And right now, that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Because trust me, Kyle, I was on that 2015 team. All right, I understand. When we were losing those home games, it was tough. It was tough watching the fans leave because we're getting blown out. It could damage the confidence of your locker room. So, to me, this is a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got to get that mojo going back, and it starts here at home.
It starts at home, and yes, there is still home field advantage, but the responsibility falls on the players. I don't know one stadium you can go to where there's a losing team where they have a home field advantage.
Yeah.
If the players take care of business, if they execute, if they score points, if they force turnovers, then the crowd has a reason to get into it, right? It shouldn't be the other way around. A relationship requires 2 parties. The Dallas Cowboys got to do their part, and then the people behind me would do theirs.
I agree 100%, Isaiah. That's good stuff right there, man. If the players go out and make plays and the coaches make the right calls that he's seen them execute and put a little something behind it, just do the right thing at the right time. These fans will never fail you, man. I've been a Cowboy all my life, baby. Yeah.
They will never, ever fail you. No doubt about it. Now, talk about this rivalry. I mentioned it earlier, but this year, this rendition of the rivalry, it still feels different. The Cowboys coming in at 3-5. The Eagles are at 6-2 playing good football right now. With it being a rivalry, anything can happen, right, whenever it comes to these two franchises?
Oh, without a doubt, anything can happen. And as a player, like these guys just said, you got to be prepared for that. I mean, we understand, this is a huge rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Since 2016, it's been one of these two teams that have won the NFC East outside of that 2020 year when the Commanders won it. But overall, when you look at these two matchups right now, you got to throw the records out the window. You got to throw it out the window. This is going to be a heated rivalry, and I can't wait to see what both of these teams have on the opportunity on the field.
Yeah, the reality, you don't like the Eagles and the Eagles aren't like you, right? That's ground zero. But beyond that, if you peel back some layers, there's Vic Fangio who said a couple years ago that he had the playbook, right, or whatever it is,
the
blueprint against the Dallas Cowboys. So there's some anger there. Then there's a dude by the name of Kellen Moore who happened to get released for the play callers that are currently on this Cowboys coaching staff. So there's a little bit of disdain there. And then you have Nick Sirianni, right? You have that guy that's over there that's wearing the shirts that he's talking about the Cowboys suck. So there's head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. You don't like any of those guys right now, and they probably don't like you. So not only is it the Cowboys versus the Eagles, but this is the coordinators versus coordinators as well. Let
me knock that chip off your shoulder. I'm going to tell you something. It's always going to be that. Since playing in what stadium was that? The Raggedy Stadium they used to have the Link, playing up in there, that double carpet thing up in there. It's always going to be a little bit of hate, man. Yeah. So don't worry about who's the coach and who's the player. Just go out there and perform, man. Let me get that.
You got to get out there and play. Get out there and play. That's all about it. Now, they are going to have a new addition to this rivalry who the Cowboys are very familiar with. except he was wearing a different uniform last time. How about Saquon Barkley, who's had a phenomenal season for Philadelphia? Give credit where credit is due. Yes, go ahead and boo him. I like it. Go ahead and boo him because the credit is there. They run the football effectively, and he's against Dallas run the football effectively during his time with the New York Giants, but it's just different this time around. It's different when he's a part of the Eagles. Why is this a scarier version of Saquon Barkley?
Because to me, he opens up everything offensively for the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at it defensively, he kind of puts you in a pickle, because if you want to play a shell defense to watch out for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and play top to bottom, then that leaves you with a light box to go against Saquon Barkley, and we've seen him tear defenses apart so far this season. You want to counter that by bringing somebody down into the box, an extra guy, then you're leaving A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard with one-on-one opportunities. So it makes a pickle for your defensive coordinator out there. How do we game plan for this? Which one do we want to lose by? There's like 1,000 cuts out there. So to me, when you look at it, Saquon Barkley opens everything up for this offense, and it's going to be a tough task this afternoon for the Cowboys.
Imagine Barry Sanders with an offensive line. That's what Saquon Barkley is, and they can speak to it. He played during the era of Barry Sanders. This dude is a weapon. He's been a weapon his entire career. Obviously, he faced injuries earlier in his career because of the organization he was playing for. That offensive line was not good. Those guys gave him, he was taking hits that he shouldn't have taken. Now you put him in a team where not only do you have a good offensive coordinator who's versatile enough to create based upon the opportunities presented out there, but also the personnel groups that you just touched on, Barry. They have receivers, they have tight ends, they have the offensive line, and they have all kinds of guys that are on the bench that want to come out there and make plays too. He opens things up for them. His offensive line creates all the opportunities. You can't just make these guys one-sided. That's the only thing that sucks about playing against the Eagles.
Hurts, Goddard, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they were already there. They lost a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, but how did they replace him? With Barkley. Yeah. Wow, man. That's the super deal right there. He's a great player. We got to box him in, and we cannot miss tackles. Because if he jump over one of us backwards, I'm going out there. Believe that. I'm suiting up, dog. Bringing that Barry Church in the box.
Oh, you already know it.
Yeah.
You already know it.
We can find a jersey in here somewhere. We'll make it happen. Somebody's got a Barry Church jersey in the crowd. Here's what I want to talk about, though. You mentioned that list of the weapons for Philadelphia. There's a reason the first name you rattled off there was still Jalen Hurts. Yes. It still starts and begins with Jalen Hurts on that offense. What is he doing this year different than what he has in the past, Nate?
He's been a little bit patient. The games that I've saw, he's been a little bit patient. But it's because of Barkley in that run game. He's making things happen from the pocket. Now, he's ran just as much as at this point last year, but with not the greatest average. He's just picking his spots, and he's got time to do what he needs to do.
It was that stat that was at the bottom of that list there. Zero turnovers. That's the difference between Jalen Hurts this year and Jalen Hurts in the past. Jalen Hurts historically has put the ball on the ground. He's coughed it up. You know, he's giving it to a little bit to everybody, a little bit of Christmas bits, a little bit of Oprah. This year, he's not doing that. This year, this dude has weapons all around him, and he's being smart with the ball because he recognizes that I don't have to make the play. I have guys that I can depend on in the passing game, and I can turn around and hand it off to a dude that's going to fall for 5 yards, and if not, a 50-yard play from time to time. He's trusting in the weapons that are around him. He's trusting in his system, and Kellen Moore and this offense has him playing well.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Isaiah. It's the decision-making for me when you talk about Jalen Hurts. Gave 10 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. So, to me, he's taking care of the football. But what's impressed me the most about Jalen Hurts, he's gotten back to what took him to the Super Bowl in 2022, and that's using his legs. Through these past 4-game stretch, 44 carries, 160 yards, 6 touchdowns. All right, that's just another added variable that defenses have to worry about when you talk about Jalen Hurts. So not only is he doing great decision-making wise, but he's using his legs out there to his advantage, and that's something the Dallas Cowboys have got to be worried about this afternoon.
Which one of these wide receivers worries you the most if you're the Cowboys on the defensive side of the football?
Well, it's got to be A.J. Brown. I mean, we understand what he brings to the table. Big physical receiver, can make all the contested catches. He's great with yards after the catch as well. But do not sleep on the Slim Reaper Devontae Smith. He's been able to take advantage of his one-on-one opportunities because everybody's putting their defense towards A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, the past 2 games, has been on fire. He's seen the end zone multiple times. That's a guy that you cannot sleep on, but we all know the matchup. It's got to be A.J. Brown.
I like the A.J. Brown take, but Devontae, the Slim Reaper, what you call him, he's the one who makes it available for A.J. Brown. He's the one who makes it available for Dallas Goedert. He's the one who allows Saquon to have light boxes because if you you want to go single high, good luck. He forced you to be in the too high shell because this dude can take the top off it. We've seen what happened against the Cowboys earlier this year against all the fast receivers. Every single fast receiver seemingly gets over the top of our safeties. They're not doing a good job getting their hips open. My boy B. Church got the loose hips, but our safeties seemingly have their hips locked up like Akon. So I need these guys to stay back, play downhill, and don't allow him to get behind them.
Devontae Smith is nice, man. I mean, he's a total package, man. He can run all the routes, man. He can run intermediate, he can run the short routes, and he can get deep, man. I mean, what you guys have said it's been a great thing, man. Great player.
Yeah, I can't get past the Akon reference.
Locked up,
That's too much. I can't do it. All right, I want to talk to Jordan Lewis. Earlier in the week, J. Lou was talking about the matchup at hand against these corners, against these wide receivers, rather, and against some of these weapons on this Philadelphia offense and how the Cowboys can try and combat it.
I mean, he did some of the similar things, jets and motions and things like that, get Kellen open and Eckler the ball. So I think he's doing really good getting his guys the ball in space. And, I mean, they're doing pretty good as of late, getting, distributing the ball to their playmakers.
Have you seen Saquon play better?
He's always been like that. When he's been healthy, he's played at that level for a very long time. It's just a good thing to see him healthy, going out there and competing. So he's doing everything I knew that he could do coming in. So
he's never beaten you guys.
Like ever, anything.
He's 0-10.
Why would you say that out loud? That's not good luck, man. They look in prime form though. I like how they're hitting their stride right now, and he's definitely the catalyst of a lot of things they're doing.
And, of course, the guy calling the plays for the Philadelphia Eagles was once a part of the Dallas Cowboys, both as a player and as a coach. Kellen Moore is back, and he is now on the opposite sideline of the Cowboys, and he's got a little bit going his direction right now. Mike McCarthy on the Cowboys side of things as a play caller has some things to figure out, but neither offense, if you look at the numbers, has really achieved their full potential. So, Isaiah, a lot of times on this show, throughout the years, you've been on this show since 2020, you've talked about play callers needing to get in their bag. Well, we've got Kellen Moore's bag, and we've got Mike McCarthy's bag. These are a couple of the undersung elements from the Cowboys and Eagles offenses, and we'll see which one can get going early. So, Nate, I'm going to pull this first one. Electrifying receiver, CeeDee Lamb, he's been targeted like crazy. 32% of his targets over the last couple of days. How about that? He's been fantastic since week 7. But then you've got Devontae Smith on the opposite side. You just talked about the Slim Reaper. Devontae Smith, they can see it on the screen up there, Nate. You got you up there. But whenever it comes to these two electrifying receivers, Isaiah, how do you unlock their full potential?
Well, CeeDee Lamb, you keep trying to find a way to feed him, but you got to move him around, right? You can't just let him be sedentary on the outside. He's too easy to guard in that regard. You don't want guys to be able to go up there and put their hands on him. So put him in motions, bring him across the formation, change up the shifts, put him in bunches where they can't come up and press. And then Devontae Smith, just sit back. Just go back, be the outfielder. Just go all the way back to the end zone and just keep everything in front of him, because if you don't respect what he does, then everybody else on that opposite side of the ball is going to eat.
Yeah, and that's what makes things so hard when you're going against the Philadelphia Eagles right there. I mean, Devontae Smith forces you guys to play top to bottom, and then you got that mean run game by Saquon Barkley. But I agree with you 100% on CeeDee Lamb. You've got to move this guy around. You cannot let him live on the outside. Put him in the slot. Put him in motion. Put him in bunches, because it's easy when he's on one side of the field for a defense to lock in on him. You can use that safety over top. You can get a corner low and jam him up at the line of scrimmage. But when you move him around, it gets hard to get that double team for defenses. So you got to move CeeDee Lamb around.
I want Nate to start on this next one, because the Cowboys got to get in their bag a little bit and find out how to find Jake Ferguson. How do you find a scoreless tight end some production? I've got Jake Ferguson on one side. Dallas got it on the other side. Both tight ends have not had a receiving touchdown yet. How do you get it done and find that production, Nate?
Do you want the simple truth?
Yes.
Just throw him the ball. He's always open. He's always open, man. He's like a phone book. You just look in there and find a number, baby. Just throw it to him. Even when he bumps on this, when he's going to bump for the day for Austin Richard, he's going to leak out late. Can't nobody stay with him. He leaps over tall buildings, man. This dude is Superman. Just throw him the ball.
You've inspired me, by the way. Is there a Jake Ferguson jersey out here anywhere?
I
don't know if
so.
there's one. Raise your hand high if you've got a Jake Ferguson jersey on.
Yeah,
you got one out here? I don't know. If you do, come up to the front. I might give you one of these Yeti bags. We'll see. What do you think about Ferguson?
I wish it was that easy, but the reality is Jake Ferguson is having a down year statistically because his 5 offensive linemen are not having their best year. And when your offensive line is unable seemingly to do their job up front collectively as a unit, you have to add help. And the first person that's going to come help the offensive line is the person who's the extension of the offensive line, and that's the tight end. So if your front 5 aren't taking care of business, you have to add a 6. And when you add that 6, it takes away from his opportunities to catch the ball.
All right, last one here, getting deep into the bag. These are forgotten favorites. These are things that the Cowboys have not done this year, or the Eagles have not done this year, but traditionally these play callers rely on this element of their offense. The Cowboys, it's play action. They are bottom 4 in the league in terms of percentage of play action, and then for the Eagles, it's their passing game. They are dead last in the NFL in terms of throwing the football. Good thing for the Eagles, they've been running it really well. That's why they haven't thrown the ball around. But which one's more important to get going today, Barry?
For the Dallas Cowboys, it's got to be the play action. But in order to do just that, you've got to have some semblance of a running game. And that's just what we haven't seen from the Dallas Cowboys this entire season. But you've got to be able to at least spark the run game a little bit so Cooper Rush can live off of that play action. That's what made him so dangerous when he went on that 4-1 stretch back in 2022. He was able to use that play action with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. They've got to get back to that, at least make the defense respect your run game out there so Cooper Rush will be able to use that play action. But the Cowboys need to have some type of balance desperately in this matchup.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add on that. I mean, you just talked about the running game. If you don't have a running game, there is no play action. In terms of your passing game numbers being down for the Philadelphia Eagles, when you're running the rock like you're running the rock with Saquon Barkley, who needs pass play action? You know, you're able to, who needs passing? I mean, these guys are able to do whatever they want offensively. They're top 5 in the league.
I'll tell you it's right here, man. I would run the bear. I would run the bear defense to make sure they run. Because I want to see if my man really can still throw that rock, Jalen Hurts. And I mean, he got 2 exceptional receivers and a great tight end and guard. But, you know, I would run the bear defense. I'll find me the biggest dude on the practice squad, about 340 pounds, just let him sit in the middle and grab grass. That's all you can do in this case.
And when they talk about in that bear, that's when you cover up the center and both guards. Both of those, all 3 of those guys in the middle are covered up.
And your tackles are covered.
So you cannot get up to the second level. You only have 2 linebackers in there at that point, so you run the risk, right? But you have to be able to take away one aspect of their game.
I love it. I think there's one way that you can get it going, and you got to find some rhythm and some consistency on both sides. Running the football, passing the football, you got to have some level of balance or else you don't respect it. You do not respect it either way. So I like what you guys are saying. One of the big reasons that I have confidence there is Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush can bring a steady hand to this offense, like I said previously. Let's go back inside AT&T Stadium where Nicole Hutchison is looking at Cooper Rush's impact and how he can bring things to the table.
Well, Kyle, Cooper Rush is not a man of too many words. He's all about action, which explains his resume. He's 5-1 as a starter in place of Dak Prescott. So I want to dig a little bit deeper with the coaches, with the players, of why this team has not wavered in confidence at all with the helm of Cooper Rush. In AT&T Stadium, the Eagles will be locked in on slowing the rush, and I'm not talking the pass rush.
Rush, back of the end zone, it is a touchdown for Jalen Tolbert.
Cooper Rush, a name that's been called upon in crunch time too many times before and is needed again.
Cooper Rush is as respected as a backup quarterback that I would say since Rich Gannon, you know, when I was Rich in the 90s of Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he carries that type of credibility. He's a great teammate, wicked smart, instinctive.
Let's start first with his credibility. Rush is 5-1 in his 6 starts as a Cowboy. His 2022 4-1 run and Dak's absence being the most notable. Keeping Dallas' season alive that year helped keep him here in Dallas.
I just remember, how well he played and how well the team played, not just offensively, but, as a team, and the confidence in Coop and the confidence in the team and finding a way to win. And again, probably what Todd was speaking to, just his demeanor. I mean, he's so consistent.
Consistency in his prep, his work, and the way he plays on the field is also what gives this wide receiver room confidence.
We've connected. Just going out there, we've taken a lot of reps outside of practice, just talking, communicating, getting on the same page. We know what Coop can do. The confidence is still there, obviously. Just standing there and deliver.
So far, Rush has the credibility, consistency, but it's also his cleverness he possesses.
The guy understands the scheme as well as anybody. Maybe one of the smartest QBs I've ever been around, just in terms of not just the understanding the X's and the O's, but the application of it.
If there's doubt, just look at how Rush manufactured drives to keep the Cowboys in the game against the Falcons. It'll be a battle, like his last start he suited up for back in 2022 that came against Philly. But he has the one thing you also need in your QB.
His temperament's excellent. I would say, he's as even field as an individual, especially quarterback that I've had the opportunity to work with. So cerebral, smart, and he gives you the flexibility to continue to play.
Cooper Rush expected to come in and help things out for this Cowboys offense. He'll do so wearing the bicentennial helmets, red, white, and blue on the helmet for the Cowboys today. It is the salute to service game, and something that no matter if you're a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan, saluting our veterans is one thing we can all cheer about. And the Cowboys, of course, saluting service all month long, all November long, but especially today in the bicentennial helmets. It's only the 5th time they've ever worn these helmets, and the Cowboys looking to get another win in doing so. We've even got the Salute to Service logo and the National Medal of Honor Museum logo behind us as well. The National Medal of Honor Museum just down the street on the other side of those trees. It'll be opening in 2025, and they continue construction. Lots of cool things this week, getting the opportunity to serve some veterans and, of course, the players getting involved as well. We've got Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and we've got some great Cowboys fans back here bringing the energy and continuing to cheer for this Cowboys team. And my first question to start off this segment has to be, and it's got to be the question that a lot of these Cowboys fans are probably asking, can Cooper Rush keep the playoff hopes alive for the Cowboys, Isaiah? Can he do it?
Well, Cooper Rush can only control what Cooper Rush does. I'm going to put it like that. He can't play for everybody. And Nate touched on it earlier. In order for Cooper Rush to have success, those front 5 guys that are blocking for him have to give him time. He showed last week that he was able to handle things under duress, but you don't want Cooper Rush handling things under duress. Yeah. Cooper Rush is not the quarterback that is considered to be a dual-threat quarterback, so he's not going to be able to escape and get himself out of certain situations. Provide him the time that he needs necessary, and then he can find guys like Jake Ferguson. He can find CeeDee Lamb. He can find a Tolbert, hopefully. And one guy that needs to get going, that needs to be his best friend today, is going to be Kavontae Turpin. I think he throws a friendlier ball in terms of less velocity. It's a little bit more catchable ball, and I think that's going to be to the benefit of Kavontae Turpin.
I'm speaking. Wow.
What are you laughing at?
Yes, because I'm the ultimate Cowboy fan. I'm sorry, I'm a homer. Yes, until we are out of it, we are in the playoffs in my eyesight. So that's just how I feel. I'm sorry.
I like it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
This is always.
There's always a slight
always.
chance. I love it, man. But it's going to be.
Don't worry about fixing my strap, bro. I'm all over the place.
You're going to be good, man. But look, it's going to be extremely hard because, I don't care who you have at the quarterback position. If your offensive line isn't able to protect you and you can't have any semblance of a run game, it's going to be hard to be productive out there for Cooper Rush. Now, he has the ability to go out there and get the ball out of his hands fast and bring these playmakers alive, but he's going to have the protection in order to do so. And when you look at the remaining schedule, it's not getting any easier. It's not getting any easier for these Dallas Cowboys, but I still believe Cooper Rush with no Dak Prescott gives you the best opportunity.
So you're saying there might need to be a level of creativity to this offense.
It's a sprinkle.
And maybe Cooper Rush can't do it alone, right? Those are a couple things that could happen.
Yeah.
So could we today see, for the first time in a regular season game, a little bit of Trey Lance? Is there an opportunity to see Trey Lance today, Barry, whenever there's a package or a running situation, whatever it may be? Do you see Trey Lance today?
I can see maybe a few packages here and there for Trey Lance. When you talk about, trying to spark the run game, using his athleticism out there, maybe when they get down to the red zone, using some quarterback read options out there. But to me, this game has got to be about Cooper Rush and his ability to get the job done out there. I can see some sprinklage of a little bit of packages here and there for Trey Lance, but overall, this has got to be about Cooper Rush.
Call me Stevie because I can't see it. I can't see it. And I'm a Trey Lance fan. All right, I color commentated for the Cowboys all preseason long. I was able to see his development and see exactly where he's at. The reality is, if you were going to play Trey Lance, it was going to be before the trade deadline. Reason being, this is last year. They did not pick up his 5th year. there's only a disadvantage to playing Trey Lance right now because only they know what his true value is. If he goes out there and has a good performance, but somehow, some way you take a loss, now you just raise the stakes and raise the price at being able to retain him. That's the reality of it. I'm sorry on Trey Lance fans, but you don't want to disrupt Cooper Rush's production, and you don't want to raise the price on Trey Lance.
1 minute you're asking about a chance at the playoffs, and now you're asking about Trey Lance. No, he cannot play for us today.
You can't do it both ways?
Not
you can't
today,
be in the playoffs and
not
also see Trey
today.
Lance?
This is all about Cooper Rush. This is all about Austin Richards. This is all about the guys that's going to be on the field. You know, that trickery don't work against a team that is good as this team. They are solid across the front. You don't want to take no chances. They got a nice secondary that more bark than bite, but they still young enough legs to make plays. Don't play like that. Let's go out and try to really win the game.
Well, how does CeeDee Lamb's role change now that it's Cooper Rush or Trey Lance playing? Does it change at all? We talked about the target share earlier. Even without Dak Prescott, do you still expect CeeDee Lamb to get fed as much as he has and to have as much success?
Absolutely. Nothing changes. You don't change his offense because Cooper Rush comes in. Again, everybody talks about the dual threat ability of Dak Prescott, but he does not utilize his legs a lot. You heard Jerry Jones a couple weeks ago speak on the fact that he really doesn't even want Dak Prescott crossing the line of scrimmage. Yeah. So from that perspective, if Dak's not being a dual threat quarterback by utilizing his abilities, then he's a pocket quarterback, right? And last time I checked, Cooper Rush, isn't that what he is?
That's exactly what
he
is.
So how is his offense different?
Yeah, it shouldn't change not one iota. Matter of fact, he should get more balls thrown his way. This is the guy, the only guy in this receiving core that has the proven ability to go out there and win one-on-one matchups, win double teams, triple teams. No matter if you put a safety over top, he still has the ability to get the job done out there. So when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, his production should be even more with CeeDee Lamb in the fold, or not with CeeDee Lamb, but Cooper Rush in the fold, because Dak Prescott, when he was out there, he was trying to get everybody involved. If I'm Cooper Rush, I'm saying this is the go-to guy right here, and I've got to get the job done with CeeDee Lamb starting off.
And also, kind of like what you talked about earlier, it can't all be up to Cooper Rush, and it can't be all up to CeeDee Lamb as well. They're going to have success with guys outside of him, and that's what CeeDee Lamb had to talk about. It's up to him and up to the rest of the team to get the job done without Dak in there.
I just got to step up, quite honestly. And with that, that's been my motto since coming back. But with that, I just keeping him comfortable back there, making sure I'm available on every route given. So standing in his ear, let him know what I see. Hopefully he see the same thing, just being on the same page and connecting.
What's he like in the huddle?
What do you mean?
Just how different is he in the huddle? Does he give it?
I mean, obviously he's much more quiet, but as far as the drive and the will to win, it's all still there. So we should be fine.
Receivers behind you have struggled throughout this season. Mingo obviously coming in. How can you help those guys continue to try to get better as the season goes on? Continuing
to build confidence within them. Obviously, I know they be on IG and they see all this crazy stuff that's being said and then kind of exclude me. So I'm part of it, you know what I'm saying? So I would take full credibility, and that's also my room. So with that being said, it's still in the confidence. It's still in that they're the player that they think they are. So just weekend, just having them prepare the right way, hard, fast, run your route as if we in a game, and we should see how that turned out.
So that begs the question. He talked about the importance of guys outside of him having success. Which pass catcher needs to step up in the biggest way today?
Since Bingo ain't playing, I'm going with Jake Ferguson.
Did you call him Bingo now?
Yeah, that's what you call it. You said B-I-N-G-O.
I said it's like that.
Okay.
It rhymes with that.
Okay, I thought it was Jonathan Mingo.
Okay, so you said Jake Ferguson. Do you feel like that's a possibility?
If Jake has 12 or more targets and 10 receptions right at 100 yards and a touchdown, we will be in this game at the end.
I'm going with Kavontae Turpin.
Okay.
I think that the Dallas Cowboys have a Slim Reaper.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys Slim Reaper is Kavontae Turpin. And if they can give him some confidence, that's all he's missing right now. He's just missing some confidence. But if you can give him some plays and he can build that confidence, he is your Devontae Smith. He's your take the top off a guy. And then he is a huge weapon in terms of getting these guys out of there and making big plays. All he needs is 2 or 3 catches a game. He's going to have 70 yards, and then CeeDee can have another 150.
Yeah, that's it, because if he gets deep, that opens up a lot for CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to go with Nate on this one when they talk about Ferg. You know, this defensive line, for the Philadelphia Eagles, they're a bunch of rough riders out there, and they're going to get after this offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. So to me, you're going to have to get the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands extremely fast, and I think that's where Jake Ferguson can come alive. Whether it's 5-yard right over the ball, get that ball out quick, or if it's in the screen game, you've got to find a way to slow down this pass rush, and I think Jake Ferguson can have a big game tonight.
Now, I do want to talk about this because there's a lot of Eagles fans making some noise here. But there is an opportunity to have some success against this Philly defense. They're not as good as the numbers indicate. And I think there's an opportunity for the Cowboys, especially pass catchers-wise, to get after the Cowboys, or get after the Eagles defense, who've been good over the last couple of weeks. But in the first 5 weeks, Isaiah, they showed some opportunity in a window that teams can take advantage of. How did the Cowboys do it today?
Slide protection. If you can't, it's going to be hard to move these guys off the ball in the run game. That's just reality. Those big Georgia boys in the middle make it difficult for you. But what you can do is you can slide your protection. And the reason why you want to do that, Big Nate can speak to it more than me, is you get those big fellas in the middle, Jalen Carter, okay? You get those guys, Big Baby Davis, get those guys caught up in the wash. That's the last thing you want to be doing is trying to block those guys one-on-one. They're bigger versions of Osa Odighizuwa. They're bigger, stronger guys, just as twitchy, but those guys are ginormous. So go ahead and slide the protection, get those guys caught up in the wash, and let your pressure come from one direction where Cooper Rush can see it to his open side.
Bootlegs, waggles, stuff like that, man. That can help you, man. And be precise in what you're doing. Don't. If you see something, go for it. And I'm talking about the quarterback. And you do. And turn protection will help. But you know what, fellas? That is why they can't, because they got those 3 horses in the middle and sweat outside. So that turn protection going to be hard.
Yeah, to me, just Cowboys offense, they've got to be able to take advantage of this Philadelphia secondary. It's a young secondary sprinkled with a little bit of veterans in there. They got 2 rookie corners out there starting for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they do have a guy by the name of Big Play Slay, but he's not what he once was. Nope. But it's all going to come down to this offensive line being able to protect for Cooper Rush. If you can give him the opportunity and the time back there, he can pick apart this secondary. So I believe this can be a big opportunity for this offense to take advantage of a young, talented but young Philadelphia Eagles secondary.
Now, let's talk about the front seven, too, because I think that front seven, you mentioned some of those guys up front, the pass rush is there. Can they get home against this Cowboys offensive line that, of course, now doesn't have Tyler Guyton? They've got Awesome Richards on the edge. What's the challenge there?
Oh, it's going to be a huge challenge. I mean, when you're talking about the last 4 weeks of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles, they've had 17 sacks. Yeah. All right, they're averaging 4 sacks per game out there. So it's going to be a tall task for this offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, who hasn't performed the way we thought they might perform out there, to block these Georgia boys in the middle, to block the edge rushers they have on the outside. And, oh, by the way, Vic Fangio, he loves to bring those linebackers as well. Nakobe Dean has been playing exceptional these past few weeks. So, to me, this is going to be a tough task for the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys.
How much success can Rico Dowdle have running the football tonight as they take on this Eagles front seven?
It's not going to be much, but you still have to run the ball 30 times. It's not going to be much. And you're going to have to be careful how you do it, but you're going to have to try to punch it in there 30 times just to keep them honest, man. You don't want them all over Cooper Rush.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, it's very difficult against these guys on the interior, both in the pass game and in the running game. When you start talking about having these effective 330-pound guys on the interior offensive line where you've been struggling already to date, that's a tall task to ask anything to be moving those guys off the ball and stop them from any kind of pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely tough, but they've got to get going in the running game. I don't care if it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. You're going to have a consistent ground game to at least have that front seven of that defense respected, and then you can bring that play action to play.
That's going to be the X factor today. We talked about play action. We talked about play calling. All of these different elements all come together when you have a bell cow running back that has success. We saw it with Rico Dowdle. They had success at times, but they just couldn't continue that consistency all the way through in that Atlanta game. They're going to have to do so whistle to whistle against the Philadelphia Eagles today. Let's go back inside AT&T Stadium where Nick Eatman is standing by with Cowboys COO Stephen Jones.
Thank you, Kyle. And as always, we're joined by Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. Stephen, obviously big game with the Eagles coming to town. You guys are trying to snap that 3-game losing streak and get a first win here at AT&T Stadium. What is your biggest thought on how the Cowboys, how you guys can turn this thing around?
You know, I just think we've got to be very diligent in how we go about executing the game plan out here. I think we've had a really good week of practice. Obviously, a challenge there at quarterback, not having Dak, and but good news is we're getting Micah back to help us rush the passer. And, you know, the other really good thing is Cooper Rush has always done a nice job when called upon. And had a great run the last time Dak got hurt. I think our team has a lot of confidence in him. And I think the biggest thing is go out here and stay focused. And we got a lot of football left to play. It starts today. And, you know, I believe in this group of guys.
What do you like about Cooper Rush's game? It looks like he can throw a good deep ball, and he kind of manages it well, and he's got the confidence of his teammates. What are the things that you love the most about him?
Well, probably the number one thing is he gets the ball out. You know, he anticipates well, doesn't hold on to it, and I think the receivers appreciate that too. And but as you said, he does a lot of things. He knows the offense as well as anybody. And so I think that's why, you know, the group has a lot of confidence in him. So I don't think you'll see any drop-off there. I think the guys are ready to go to work today, and I think we'll play well.
Awesome Richards is going to start, I believe, at left tackle for Tyler Guyton. You know, he's a second-year guy, draft pick. What do you like about his game?
Well, he's an athletic guy, and, you know, who's really come along. He's going, you know, he's been through the grind of, you know, having to do all the work but not get to play a lot. And this is going to be great for him to get the opportunity to go out there and get a chance to show what he can do. And he's athletic enough to do it. And certainly, you know, anytime these young guys get chances to play, same things happened over on the defensive side of the ball. Guys like Carson, you know, guys like Weed and Chauncey and Lawson, and those guys get opportunities, and you know, that's how you find good football players.
Speaking of opportunities, when you sign Dak $60 million a year, you're not taking him off the field. But is it a different situation maybe with Trey Lance? I don't want to give away the game plan, but do you think there's some opportunities to play Trey Lance at times?
I know Mike and Shotty and the whole group back there are big fans of Trey. He works his butt off, and certainly he's an athletic guy that can do a lot of different things, and I'm sure if Mike sees an opportunity, who knows? Okay. That's why you should stay tuned.
One more thing, Eagles on the other side, Kellen Moore, you get a chance to see him, and what do you think of his type of offense and kind of how they're playing right now with all those weapons they've got?
Well, Kellen's just an outstanding coach. That's why we had him here for so long. We just have nothing but the utmost respect for him. Certainly the Eagles are a long-time rival. Anytime you're going up against them, you want to beat them. So Kellen, I know, feels the same way. Sure. He's over there now, and I'm sure nothing he'd like more than to get after us. But Kellen's one of the great offensive minds in this league. He's done a great job for the Eagles over there, and we'll have our hands full.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. As always, it's Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. And Kyle, we'll throw it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Nick and Steven. Back here with Barry, Isaiah, Nate. I'm Kyle Yeomans. We've heard from Nicole. We've heard from Nick. And here's one thing. Before we get into Call Your Shot, this is the last show for one Kaden Gates, our producer. And I've got one final bag here for Kaden here. And it's not just any bag. This is Kaden's bag. And you know what Kaden has in his bag every single show? He has Emmy Award-winning type of material.
There we go, brother.
Yeah. Kaden Gates. Here's the thing. He doesn't even know I took this from the studio, but I did.
You're a thief.
This is Kaden's Emmy. Kaden has had his hands on Cowboys Pregame Live from before it really took off. Yeah. He is the reason that we are who we are today from this show as we take a look at some of the old Kaden Gates. Here's the thing. He doesn't even know this is a part of the rundown. He doesn't like talking about himself, but I'm going to say it from the heart here. Kaden is one of the more influential individuals that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. He's had the best significance on my career of anybody that's ever been in that building. He is the true leader of Cowboys Pregame Live. He's not here today because he's back at the Star in Frisco enjoying his final Cowboys Pregame Live today before he takes his job with the Dallas Mavericks. Cannot wait to see him at the NBA level, see him continuing his career in a big way and touching the lives and significance of everybody else in this business.
Man, you said it all, Kyle. When you talk about, professional, showing up to work, being one of the hardest workers in the building, and that's Kaden Gates. That's exactly who he is, man. And I'm going to miss him sorely because he's been my producer since I've been here as well. So, he's held it down for me. He's held it down for everybody at this desk right now. Gates, man, I can't even say anymore, man. You one of the good ones for sure.
Yeah, respect to KG, man. He's been holding it down for us. The thankless work, right?
Yes,
obviously, we're giving love right now, but the thankless work, how he keeps us all in track. I don't know how he keeps us all in line. We're one heck of a bunch to keep in line, but he does a great job of keeping us informed. Yeah, he's in my ear right now telling me what I can, but he does a great job keeping us informed, right? These rundowns, all the stuff that spends hours and hours. Thank you to his wife at home for giving up your time, for allowing him to work with us. We're super grateful, and he got 4 bodyguards for life.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kaden always answers the phone when I call at 6:30 in the morning.
Always.
His wife Sarah say, "Who is that?" "Oh, it's just Nate again." Thanks, Kaden.
We wanted to take some time and thank Kaden because, like you said, it is thankless work. Yep. We wanted to do it in front of this crowd at AT&T Stadium. So I want you to try this for me real quick. Whether you're an Eagles fan or you're a Cowboys fan, I don't care. Give me on 1, 2, 3. Everybody needs to say "Good luck, Kaden." All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Good luck, Kaden.
We got a delay. That's fine. That works perfectly. Only reason we've got one of these is because of Kaden Gates, and we appreciate it as always. All right, time to call your shot. Bold prediction time for the Cowboys and the Eagles today. Who is going to get on the board? Because we need an opportunity. We've got a low bank of points to deal with today as we take a look at the call your shot rules, bold predictions, week in and week out. We're going to start here with, of course. Oh, wait, they gave me -1? I didn't know we could go negative. That's unfortunate. I used to be, look at that, in week 5, I was all the way at the top, and how the glory has fallen.
Oh, I hate to see it.
All right, Barry, you're going to go first here. You got the 1 point on the board. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to put 1 point on the board. I only got 2, but I'm going to put 1 on the board. And my bold prediction for this game is that Cooper Rush will be able to take advantage of that young secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he'll be able to throw for at least 250 yards. If we're able to do that, combine that with the run game, the Cowboys could walk out of here with a W.
Okay, I'm going to transition your Cooper Rush, and I'm going to say that Saquon Barkley will not rush for 100 yards today, that the Dallas Cowboys defense finds a way to wrangle him up, all right, and keep him under 100 yards.
You know, I was forced not to go with Jake Ferguson. I was forced by the guy that's leaving.
Oh.
Luka Doncic to you, brother. Yeah, I'm going with my boy Rico Donald. For 75 yards and 1 point. Y'all like that? I love that. That was almost Italian, wasn't it?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I've got -1 point, but I guess I'll try it again here. I'm going to say a Dallas tight end will score a touchdown today. It hasn't happened all year long. They're going to find a way. It's either going to be Ferg or Schoon or Brevin Spanford. I don't care. One of them tight ends is going to finally have a touchdown today, and we're going to get off the schneid from the tight end room so far. All right, that's it for Call Your Shots. Keys to the game, and we say goodbye here from the AT&T East Plaza.
My keys to the game is make sure you protect Cooper Rush. That offensive line, you got your hands full with Philadelphia Eagles, but if you protect him and give him time, he can do damage for you.
Make Jalen Hurts remember who he used to be. The Jalen Hurts that used to turn the ball over, get back to that Jalen Hurts, but you're going to have to make him. He's not just going to give it to you. Go out there and take an interception or take a fumble from him.
Austin Richards. Technique, baby.
My key to the game is for this crowd to get into it early.
Yes.
For the Dallas Cowboys nation to show out in a big way early at AT&T Stadium, and for the Cowboys team to get in the end zone and keep this crowd in it as it goes along. That's going to do it for us here from the AT&T East Plaza here at AT&T Stadium. Osa Odighizuwa firing up the team as they get ready to take the field. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday afternoon at CBS. Tony Romo, Jim Nance on the call. We'll hand it over to those guys. For Isaiah, Barry, Nate, Kaden Gates back in studio. I'm Kyle Yeoman saying we'll see you after the game. Cowboys OT and Cowboys game night.